How's it going, my flaccid apple pies? Back in June, Japan decided that it would be a great idea to reopen the schools in the middle of a pandemic. And now, shit has hit the fan, and I want to talk about that for today's video. But before we get into it, I'm gonna need you to conjo the living hell out of that subscribe button. If you don't know what conjo means, I have a video that shares my experiences getting conjoed. Now then, make sure you're subscribed and let's get into the stupidity of Japan. So, while Japan is often viewed as an advanced civilization with highly intelligent people, these fucking sock puppets do some Florida level shit quite often. And in this situation, they thought it would be a good idea to open schools while in crisis. Parents wanted to get their kids out of the house, and zero fucks were given to the safety and health of both the staff and the kids. If you are a foreign teacher like me, you are basically fodder in this situation. See, Japanese schools want English teachers to be this high energy, funny, and goofy teacher, which for me is no problem because I'm the funniest guy that I know, and my level of humbleness balances this out quite well. The problem is they expect you to make these activities that involve lots of body movement, so things like games and dancing. Which leads to my next topic, which is that trademark Japanese humidity. All of the staff have to wear a mask, which doesn't really breathe well at all. So this makes teaching a living hell, especially during June, because the Japanese don't want to use the air conditioners and instead they want to have the windows open, and because it lets a cool breeze in. They say it's a tradition to wait until July to start using the air conditioners because it saves money. And my dude, it is like 98 degrees outside and I'm drenched in sweat. And on one occasion, I was actually sent home after a class due to overheating. And I had to write a very angry letter to my dispatching company who gave zero fucks. I remember ripping off my mask the second I left the campus. And just that feeling of like that cold air, that relief that I felt. It's what I imagine what it feels like to take a bra off after a long day of work. Anyways, you would think that the Japanese would realize that this year was hotter than normal, and because we had to wear masks, common sense would say to turn on the air conditioners. But instead, the schools decided to do the fucking opposite. And by that, I mean they decided it was a good idea to hold a ceremony outside for an hour in 100 degrees, humid as fuck weather while everyone wears masks. At this point, I was actually questioning if such a thing was even legal. So we go outside for one of the most brutal periods of my friggin' life. These guys for sure aren't paying me enough to be out here in a mask. Now here's the part where I question the Japanese hive mind. These kids, they start fainting and had to be carried off. And no, I'm not talking about one kid. Many fell over from the heat. Like these kids were dropping faster than my YouTube channel post a Sonic statue wave. And for some reason, the staff just wanted to keep going. You would think that after the first kid, they would have stopped the ceremony. But after the second or third, they still kept going. And I was stunned. I don't know, maybe the ceremony requires a sacrifice, but I wasn't going to sit there and let it happen. So I tell one of the Japanese teachers, who did nothing. So then I told another teacher, and another, and they all just said, oh, okay, and let the ceremony continue. So this brings me to the Japanese hive mind, which is one of my most hated things about the culture. In Japan, they have a saying, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. Basically what that means is their whole lives, they're trained to not do anything that will make them stand out. And speaking out in this situation would draw too much attention to them, so they just stand there quietly watching these kids get dragged off. Friggin' idiots. And this is just the heat. I haven't even begun to talk about the explosion of cases since the schools have opened up. On the first day of school, they had 60 kids in a classroom built for 30 to 40 kids. And their desks were so close together that I couldn't walk between them. I literally had to go outside the front door and walk down the hall to the back door just so I can get to the back area of the class to help those kids out. And during the break, like the boys, they start piling up on each other. They're wrestling like they always do. And the girls, they're just like ripping off each other's masks, hugging, holding hands. Like seriously, who thought it would be a good idea to put a bunch of kids together and expect them to follow social distance guidelines? And why would you give the okay to open schools up when the facilities clearly do not support the student count? Now, we have another wave of the freaking virus, and Abe, who is basically the face of Japan, is like, yeah, I had no idea how this could have possibly happened. Moral of the story, every country and company is run by friggin' idiots. That's all there is to it. And come Monday, my vacation is over and I go back into that COVID-drenched, hot as hell environment with kids ready and waiting to literally concho my ass. Do you know what's good recovery for concho ass syndrome? Commenting and subscribing. This gives your cheeks +5 resistance and +7 agility to the concho, and stuns the kids for 2 seconds, giving you time to roundhouse kick them across the classroom. And with that, I'm gonna get off and go play some paladins with my best friend. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see your magnificent self tomorrow. Take care.